Now, in a moment, I'm going to play you new footage just released grudgingly by San Francisco officials from the body cams of police who responded to last year's bizarre attack on Paul Pelosi, husband of then Speaker of the House, Nancy. But before I do, I think it's important that we take a good look at the attack and how it was covered at the time. Now remember, on October 28, just days before the midterm elections, which at the time the Republicans were expected to romp in, Paul was attacked, we were told, by a hammer-wielding man screaming, "Where's Nancy?" And predictably, the attack was pounced upon by Democrats in the media who said that Republicans had blood on their hands. Immediately, the story went out that the attacker was some sort of crazed, right-wing, MAGA-loving Trump fan behind the attack, and it was further evidence that conservatives were playing with fire, using their rhetoric to whip up hatred, yada, yada, yada. You know how it all goes. But then, if you'll recall, things got a little weird. I mean, details began to emerge about the man who allegedly attacked Mr. Pelosi, 42-year-old David DePape. And, well, let's just say he didn't seem to come out of MAGA-supporting central casting. DePape instead turned out to be a nudist activist who lived on a hippie commune. As more details emerged, it became clear that DePape was more of a sad case than a political terrorist, someone who was mentally ill, had suffered drug addiction issues, and spouted a lot of weird stuff, including anti-Semitic and 9/11 conspiracies online. In other words, he was just another victim of decades of failed California social policies that have, in the name of compassion, allowed people to become the agents of their own sad destruction. And DePape wasn't even, according to reports, an American citizen. Instead, he was born in Canada and raised there, and then he lived in California for years with his migration status uncertain. Anyway, again, all kind of odd, and again going against the notion that DePape was not some sort of crazy MAGA hat-wearing domestic terrorist. That would have been the guy who tried to break into Brett Kavanaugh's house and kill him. There were also questions about how DePape could have gotten into the Pelosi house. And hey, by the way, where were the Capitol Police who were supposed to be monitoring and guarding the property? Now, all this was pretty strange, but things got weirder still when American television network NBC not only retracted a story, but suspended the reporter behind it. Now, what did the reporter say? Have a listen.
After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi. The 82-year-old did not immediately declare an emergency or try to leave his home, but instead began walking several feet back into the foyer toward the assailant and away from police. It's unclear if the 82-year-old was already injured or what his mental state was, say sources.
Now, this reporting contradicted what police and prosecutors had been putting out about the attack. And as a result, his news report was blamed for spreading, you knew this was coming, conspiracy theories, which, of course, should be a phrase that is a red flag for anyone with more than two brain cells to rub together. Anyway, finally, overnight Friday, authorities in San Francisco released the audio of Paul Pelosi's 911 call and the body cam footage from the officers who showed up at the house. Now, I'm going to play excerpts from the call first and then the video. And frankly, I think all of this is going to leave us with more questions than answered. First, the call. In this first part, Paul sounds a bit confused, or perhaps, I don't know, maybe like he's dropping hints that things aren't quite right at the house.
Oh, I guess I called by mistake. What is this?
This is San Francisco Police. Do you need help?
Oh, well, there's a gentleman here just waiting for my wife to come back. Nancy Pelosi. He's just waiting for her to come back, but she's not going to be here for days, so I guess we'll have to wait.
Okay, do you need police, fire, or medical for anything?
8 seconds.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Now, the call goes around in circles like this for a couple of minutes.
This gentleman just came into the house. and he wants to wait here for my wife to come home.
0, 2,
And so,
4 and 48.
anyway, he told me to put the phone down.
Do you know who the person is?
No, I don't know who he is.
And then weirdly, DePape himself appears to participate in the call.
This gentleman says that he thinks everything ought to, you know, he told me to put the phone down and just do what he said.
18 seconds.
Okay?
Okay, what's the gentleman's name?
I don't know. What's that?
My name's David.
The name is David.
Okay, and who is David?
I don't know. What's that?
I'm a friend of theirs.
All very, very odd. Now let's have a look at what happened when the police showed up at the house.
2620, right? No, 2640. Oh, 40. Yeah, it literally said in there. Hi. Hey guys. How you doing?
How are you?
What's going on, man?
Everything's good.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
Nope. Hey.
What is going on right now?
I'm not getting an answer on call.
Shocking, and I guess we're lucky in a way that the tape didn't actually capture the hammer blow itself. But there are some interesting things to note here in this video. One, the tape would appear to at least partially vindicate the report NBC's Miguel Almaguer filed and was suspended for, namely that Pelosi did not seem to be in any immediate danger and did not declare an emergency or run to the police to get away from DePape. Instead, he seems to be dressed in his shorts or underwear and is even holding a drink with ice cubes in it, which he hangs on to until the moment he is struck. Now, 2, note the very odd fact where both Pelosi and DePape both appear to be holding the hammer at the same time. And 3, when Paul Pelosi answers the door, he answered it with a kind of very spacey sounding hi. And then there's the remaining question of how DePape got into the house, why the Pelosi's security detail failed to pick up something was wrong, and so on and on and on. Now, the trial of David DePape still has to run its course, and so DePape will remain simply the alleged assailant here. But this tape, which authorities sat on for as long as possible until a court ordered them to release it, doesn't make things much clearer about what happened. It does also, though, seem to, at this stage, put the lie to the idea that this was some sort of right-wing political terrorism stoked by conservatives. That was simply a story that was too good for Democrats to pass up in the days before Americans went to the polls.